Throughout most of mankind's history, sexual activity has been generally frowned upon prior to the onset of puberty for good reason, for obvious reason. That said, initial puberty onset was generally an acceptable time to get married and have kids. However, no formal laws regarding the age of consent existed until in the 1100s, medieval Europe, Gratian wrote a collection of canon law at the time known as the Decretum Gratiani, establishing the first formal law for the age of consent, which at the time was only 7 years old. Amazingly, in the United States, Delaware state law, literally, as of late 1895, still retained an age of consent of only 7 years old. This was likely because Joe Biden was senator at the time. Islamic Sunni madhab set male marriageable age to 12 and female to 9 years old, although sexual intercourse was accepted to be after the onset of puberty. Under the Napoleonic Code in 1832, the age of consent was only 11. Traditional Latin American age of adulthood for girls is 15 with the quinceañera celebration. I'm 34 years old, and at my stage of life, frankly, my age of consent is 25. While I could pull a Leo and legally date an 18-year-old, I couldn't imagine actually having the relationship with that kind of age difference. So it's hard for me to believe some of these legal age of consents through history, but the Diablo series takes place in the 1200s. This brings us to Sanctuary. Early in Act 1, we encounter an NPC named Neyrelle, who is consistently referred to as a child. In fact, she can only fit into small spaces to open gates for us, etc. But if you look at her character, she's approximately our character height. Looks to be between, maybe age 14, 16, somewhere in that range. We know she is a scholar versed in the heraldic arts and the arcane, so she must be an older teenager, but is usually referred to by Vigo and others in our party in a way that would imply she's 11 or 12. Her official artwork has her looking like a young woman. Her voice actress is Judy Alice Lee, who's an adult. She's not voiced by a teenager or a child. Looking through the Diablo wiki timeline, I could find no marriages nor births to parents younger than in their 20s. It all seems to imply that the social norms of Sanctuary regarding age of consent are more like modern Earth times, likely at or close to age 18, rather than the historical norms of medieval Europe and the medieval times in which it's based, which were beginning at the onset of puberty, age 12 or 13.